Hello, I'm Akihiro Matsuura. I've just graduated from MA in TESOL at the University of Reading. It's a privilege to be giving my presentation to the New Directions East Asia post-conference webinars. I had a great opportunity to collaborate with the British Council's Assessment Research Group, which led my research topic, Fluency in a Speaking Test. The title is Investigating Repair Fluency Across Tasks and Levels of Proficiency in the Aptis 14 Speaking Test. This is background. This year marked a watershed in English education in Japan. Japanese government became concerned about the low performance of Japanese English learners. Therefore, a brand new goal for high school students is set at the level of B1 and B2 of CFR. So I made an attempt to find the characteristics of fluency between them. According to Segalovitz, fluency has three aspects in L2 speech: cognitive fluency, perceived fluency, and utterance fluency. Utterance fluency is possibly the simplest to recognize and monitor, as it concentrates on specific parts of speech. Thus, it has the benefit of being measurable. Utterance fluency is divided into three aspects as you see. Speed measures the flow of speech. Breakdown, on the flip side, evaluates the number of pauses and silences that interrupt the flow of discourse. Repair is a measurement which monitors repair strategies. Tavakoli and Hunter divided into four different levels on the pyramid. Then, utterance fluency is categorized in very narrow perspective. Tavakoli et al. Argued that repair fluency has complicated features because it did not show any differences. They argue that repair fluency has shown no linear progression and no systematical distinction. In fact, many studies looked into the total number of repairs. However, when all repairs put all together, it doesn't show anything. So my research delved into repair measures individually. These are the 5 repair measures and simple definitions with examples based on Foster and Scan. False starts means abandoned utterances. Speaker changes the topic abruptly. Reformulations is grammatical modification. So this example, speaker amends tense. Hesitations, only part of a word. So hesitates to say one word. Repetitions, literally repeating words, phrases, or clauses. Replacements, replacing a word. The key word is just one word. Repair fluency is essential in international standardized tests such as IELTS and Aptis, like these examples. They are heavily relying on repair fluency despite their complex features. Therefore, I decided these two research questions. One is about the distinctions in the use of repair measures. The other is about whether the task design affects or not. Aptis test is an innovative computer-based English language test produced by British Council. Aptis has 4 variants and support different test purposes. The concept of localization is an attempt to promote personalization of assessment. Based on the concept, the British Council and the Tokyo University of Foreign Studies developed the BCTS, a university entrance exam speaking test suited to the Japanese context. Aptis 14 speaking test has 4 tasks. Test takers are to record their speaking. It is interesting that only task 4 has planning time. Regarding methodology, I chose mixed method. This is because I have to look into repair measures deeply in 2 stages. This study utilized 12 Japanese students recording data. Phase 1, I counted the frequency with AS unit coded data. Then phase 2, I used conversation analysis to investigate how repair measures were used. As for quantitative research, I'd like you to get used to original coding symbols which I set using AS unit. For example, symbol N indicates repetition. This is my transcribing data. I found 3 repetitions, so I put AND symbol here. Then I calculated and made a list like this. As for qualitative research, I utilized conversation analysis. This is an example of the list that I made to look into each repair measure. There are more than 400. As a result of conversation analysis, I categorized common features of each 5 measure. I'll show you some examples later. Let's check the results. We are going to look at quantitative results first, followed by qualitative results. To begin with, these are the total number of repair measures. B1 group is in blue, whereas B2 group is in orange. The left shows the number of repairs per 60 seconds, whereas the right displays the usage rate of repairs per word per minute. The B2 group scored lower than the B1 group for all tasks for both numbers and rates. This suggests that B2 group used fewer repair measures than B1 group. Differences between tasks were also shown. Interestingly, when false starts and reformulations were calculated separately, false starts resulted in not much difference. However, the tasks were affected. In contrast, reformulations clearly showed both differences across levels and tasks. This suggests that false starts alone make no real difference, whereas reformulations show a clear difference across levels. Curiously, hesitation did not show any level differences. Nevertheless, the task gap was extremely wide. Meanwhile, like reformulations, repetitions clearly illustrated distinctions across levels and tasks. Repetitions were shown to be used more frequently by B1 group than B2 group for all tasks. Finally, replacements showed no noticeable differences across levels, whereas clear differences were observed between tasks. For task 1 and 2, B2 group used replacements more than B1 group, and vice versa for tasks 3 and 4. Also, the other 4 repair measures decreased in their use from task 2 to 3, only replacement increased. These figures provide a summary of the mean number and usage rate. For repetitions and reformulations, B1 was more than twice as high as B2 in both number and rate of use. Now we are going to look at some examples of the results of conversation analysis. One of the most common examples seen in reformulations is correcting morphemes. In excerpt 1, the candidate almost said came and then reformulated the tense 3 times: come, came, will come. Furthermore, hesitation and replacement are induced. It is interesting that this use of a series of repairs was common amongst B1 candidates. I named this as repair cluster and defined as repairs that occurred 4 or more times in one AS unit. So this repair cluster may be a common feature of B1 speakers. This is a major characteristic of repetitions. In excerpt 3, this candidate repeated he to construct the next content, then probably what was repeated in order to consider the object of discovery. Regardless of level, most of the repetitions seem to be used as storing behavior in order to allow formulation of the ideas, content, and expressions of subsequent utterances. Building on the results, these are the main discussion points. One possible reason for reformulations level difference could be their lack of grammar competence. An interesting feature of the B1 group was identified as a clustering of several repairs. The repair cluster could have been caused by candidates feeling pressure through the test, which could have led to more mistakes. Tavakoli and Wright argue that a feature of hesitation, leading to other repair measures. A common feature found regardless of level was the cross-linguistic influence of the Japanese context, considering that Japanese word order and Japanese English caused examples of the usage of repair. It is likely that the Japanese context has an impact. Therefore, this could have an impact on the rating scale in terms of localization. Task differences have an impact of task design on induced fluency features. One of the important aspects of task design was the impact of planning time. It is worth noting that replacements represent the lowest number of repairs in the task 4 of all the tasks for both groups. This could be the fact that task 4 has only planning time. I believe this research will contribute to rating descriptors mainly, affecting teachers and learners directly. I'll summarize practical recommendations based on the study findings. The results are expected to lead to the development of rating criteria and modification. This presents both the existing and recommended fluency descriptors for tasks 2 and 3. Then this is for task 4, respectively. Thus, this could have a major impact on the concept of localization. This study also could be applied to the BCTS. Finally, I'll present 2 practical recommendations for language teachers and students should consider. The highest priority is for both teachers and learners to be on the same page about fluency. Different interpretations of fluency are likely to prevent teachers from providing appropriate instruction to their students. Misguided evaluations based on a false perception of fluency in the classroom would be at risk of leading to misguided teaching. In terms of the assessment of speaking, teachers should consider speaking style and misspoken words in speaking activities and tests. Thus, it will be important to recognize this risk in considering the content of education. The main point is that the effect of pre-task planning time should be applied more often in the classroom. It is reported that unplanned performances are less fluent than planned performances. Furthermore, it is essential to dispel the assumption that speaking quickly is necessary. This could be improved by repeatedly telling students to prepare their thoughts before speaking. I hope my research will be useful for many people all over the world. I recommend you study fluency and read my paper in the near future. Thank you so much indeed.